So let's talk about Team Laurence. The season, I think it's 2 finale of Insecure. Give my thoughts, my take on the extreme Laurence hate, which I think is irrational, but also telling at the same time. But let's talk about Team Laurence. So a lot of dudes have taken a liking to Laurence, and they've chosen to make him this, I don't know, educated lame blue collar brother. I don't know what, but because there hasn't been a lot of characters that brothers can possibly relate to, like, there's the extreme where it's like Ghost or from Power, which I'll talk a little bit about in this, or Kanan's character, and then there's like the other extreme where the dude is just absolutely lame. But like Laurence is that dude that kind of fits in the middle, and I think some dudes can relate to him. I think a lot of dudes are Team Laurence simply because they see the hate that he's getting from women, and they see how emotionally attached a lot of chicks are to Issa's character, and they want Issa to win, and of course we want Issa to lose. So I don't think it's that deep. I think that yes, we can be for the Lawrence's character, but still critique him. And that's what I'm gonna do here. Laurence, off the bat, we know the whole situation with him not working was a fail. Like, that's a negative. There's no way to out explain that. There's no arguments to make about that. No, her cheating was not right, but we know for a fact that if you're sitting at home and your chick is working, now the storyline is all messed up and terrible with that, because it says he was laid off for 4 years. They were together for 5, and he was laying on the couch for 4 or something like that. And unemployment, he still collected unemployment. According to Bank Tasha Bay, he was still cashing unemployment checks. So that shit just didn't make sense. When his boy tried to, give him some accountability and say, you was wrong too, he only said 2 years. So that part of the storyline is just messed up. Like, it just doesn't make any sense how long he was unemployed or whatever. But according to Tasha Bay, he had income in his bank still. He had savings, and he was still cashing checks. So it wasn't like he was poor and destitute, which is what the perception is when you listen to commentary from females speaking on this topic. Of course, that's not good, the situation he was in either, but I think they exaggerated a bit. From the show and from what Issa has stated, she cheated not because of Laurence. Yes, him being at home, I guess the not getting her stuff for her birthday. I've listened to podcasts from females, and they're like, oh, he ain't getting her nothing for her birthday. Basically saying like that would have caused them to cheat, right? So there was a lot of women who wanted to rationalize the cheating. At the end of the day, you just break up. Issa was out of the relationship before she cheated. She fake broke up with him without telling him because she was trying to smash with Daniel. I think from like, somebody pinpointed it, but like episode 2, season 1, like that's when Issa first cheated. Not physically cheating though. So it's like, we want to run with the whole Laurence sitting on the couch was the reason why she cheated. Issa and the show said that, and as the writer. Now, one thing too, a lot of people get it twisted, is although it's Issa Rae's show, she doesn't have final say over what happens in the show. Like, she puts out ideas and she gives her feedback, but HBO and their writers dictate how the show's going to go. I don't think people want to comprehend that, but she signed a big deal with them, and she doesn't have all the rights to do what she wants to do with the show, guaranteed. But she even said that in one interview that she can give input and insight on how she wants things to go, but at the end of the day, she doesn't have final say so. But anywho, Laurence has made taken some L's though, right? We're Team Issa. We're not Team Issa. We're Team Laurence simply because we want to see Issa lose. Now, what I think is funny is that why I think the hatred for Laurence is irrational, partly is because women claim they want a character like Issa and Molly, who are two-dimensional and they can make mistakes and they can be vulnerable and they can fail and they can whatever, but they can't see that same thing in Lawrence's character. How come you can't see him, a young man, figuring things out the same way Issa and Molly thought ass is too, right? So that's what I don't understand. Like, I can give you, say, okay, don't take this so too seriously. Don't, even though I don't think it's a good reflection of black women, I think it doesn't help your image and promotion and whatnot. I think like Scandal, like Being Mary Jane, like Megan Good show that got canceled that we don't talk about, but Deception, that was some kind of bedwinchy character for real, but people don't even know about that because the show got canceled after one season. But I don't think those shows help your imagery in the media and whatnot. But a lot of women, for some reason, say they can relate to her. So I guess it might. She's correct in her portrayal of black women and what y'all doing and what y'all go through. Hey, it is what it is. I don't think it's a good reflection of you, but y'all like it, so it is what it is. Same as Girls Trip. I seen a lot of people doing commentaries on that. I seen Boyce, you know, because he does this filler out first where he starts talking about something before you know he's about to go in on the video. And I seen No Malanga and his other co-host, they both did videos on the topic and they were giving their opinion. I think you can admit you enjoy something, at the same time try to critique it. There's nothing wrong with doing both. This idea that you can't be critical of the show, which is a lot of knee-jerk reaction from black folks, is, oh, we can't have nothing and this and that. I'm like, no, you can say you like it and want it and then critique what's wrong with it. Like, everything has nuance. There's gray areas in everything. And we don't seem to comprehend that. But it does seem like women can comprehend that when it comes to Issa and Molly's character, but they can't comprehend that when it comes to Laurence. Like, yo, he's young and he messed up. First mistake, being on the couch for that long. He should have never been on the couch that long. He should have just did something while he was still working on his app, right? Like, that's just that, number one. Number two, Tasha. I don't think he made mistakes with Tasha as far as, well, Tasha was a rebound chick. So, as much as we were Team Tasha, I personally think Tasha's the most attractive female that's reoccurring on the show. Better than Molly, better than Issa, better than the fat girl, better than whoever. Like, I think she's the most attractive woman on the show, so that helps be Team Tasha. But I think she's a little ditty, like a little slow, little. I mean, like, personality seemed like a fun chick, cool chick, and all that, but she played her purpose. We were feeling her as the rebound. Ain't nobody think he's gonna work that out with her. And then when they try to give her a more serious role, which is sticky because a lot of women don't like her anyways because she pushed up on Laurence while he was in a relationship, even though when Laurence said, yo, I got a girl, like when he really said it and put some bass in his voice, she fell back. She didn't mess with him anymore. Of course, she knew he had a girl first, but when she started saying things that made him feel uncomfortable, he pushed, she stopped, which is cool. But someone want to use that to not like her because of that, and then a lot of women are like, well, we don't feel bad for her because she got played. But again, some women were on this whole, he's a fuckboy because of what he did to her. Ghosting her at the park was lame, but her asking him to come meet her parents or her family after they had been in a situationship for months, right? Like, he would go over her house on a Friday, smash the whole weekend, and then bounce. Like, what did you think that was? And then the moment when, you know, it got different and it was like, oh, we're going to just sit here and watch this TV show and we not smashing, he started saying like, well, what is this? Like, that's not what he signed up for. So Tasha claims she knew what it was, but somehow he made her feel different. Like, no, you should have went with your quote unquote intuition and been like, yeah, this is what this is. She pushed too fast. Ain't no way in the world I'm going to meet your family after a situation like that. I think, again, ghosting her was wrong by leaving, but that was just lame for him going there. Second mistake Laurence made, well, I'm not going to say it's a mistake, but again, in his youthfulness and learning who he is, getting the train with the Beckys, he's not built for that. He's not about that life. Like, he learned, he had that, chalked that off his list when he tells his son when he's older, like, yeah, I had these two. Yeah, but that's it. He not built for that life. He tried it. It don't work for him. I know a lot of older cats was clowning him, saying he ran out of gas. You don't supposed to do that when you're in that realm of things. I don't know about that life, but he's definitely not built for that. And that's a lesson learned. Chalk that off the list. Dating the new coworker, fail on Laurence's part. I don't know how anybody does not know not to eat where you should. It's that simple. Not, especially after the fact that the first day you got hired and you worked there, you knew that she smashed one of her other coworkers because they were drunk. all them signs were there. I got drunk. I slept with my coworker. It was a mistake. We gonna never do it again. But we gotta work together. Granted, that might be some Silicon Valley type of environment where they can get down like that. But you're the black dude who's probably there because of a quota, right? And other black people on the, in his environment where he works at, right? So keep that in mind too. So that might be something they can get away with and do. But you the new kid on the block. You don't know about the jealousy of the dude that he wants another shot at the girl. Laurence started to feel some type of way because they were close and still laughing at each other, jokes and all that stuff. And she's like, "Yo, we're done." He don't understand that culture, but he should have never got with her. Like, you don't date no chick you work. Like, I don't even feel comfortable dating chicks in my gym. Like, I like my gym. Like, my gym got 180-pound dumbbells, and they not rubber. Like, I can make all the noise I want. Like, the gym is a great place to meet chicks and stuff that's fit and like serious about it. I got a co-ed gym. Chicks in there don't play no games. They be powerlifting, deadlifting, squatting. Like, they not just on the treadmill. Like, they really be doing their thing. Good place to meet chicks, but it's like the awkwardness of if something like that doesn't work out and you met there, it's just weird. Like, I know another friend who went to the same gym and she had that problem. She her dude was a trainer, but that wasn't his gym, but he would train certain clients who probably lived in that neighborhood over there. She lived right across the street from the gym, but she wouldn't go back to the gym because, like, over 2 years she didn't go back because she didn't want to bump into him and his new girl and whatever. So she avoided that gym. And I'm like, I ain't about to do that. I ain't losing my gym over you. But I'm just saying, like, how do you date somebody seriously that you'll work with? I'm not going to act like, obviously, these work romances happen. A lot of cheating and infidelity going on in the situation. My first job in high school was Save a Lot. I watched our head manager, well, one of our key locker upper dudes, whatever. He ended up cheating, leaving his wife and getting with the head cashier. And then our meat dude, Pause, he ended up cheating on his girl for like a year before he finally broke up with her. But he was messing with like the second in charge cashier. So I'm not saying these relationships don't happen, but they're messy, they're petty, they're sloppy, and it's just weird. I wouldn't be about that life. So that was definitely an L on Daniel's part. Lawrence's part. You know, don't shit where you eat. Like, don't do that. I remember in high school, one of my boys from high school, he called. We was on, I don't know what was it. We was on the PlayStation. We finally met up. We talking in the party, and this man started venting to me like I was Oprah or some shit, telling me all this dirt. Now, I'm not gonna say he's an educated lame. He's a dude who he went to the military. I guess he has the essence of an educated lame, but he know how to talk to women, so he smashes a lot of chicks. So I guess he got game or whatever, right? And he was telling me about all the chicks in high school that we grew up with that he was messing with, that they were married and all that other stuff too. But he had told me some situation about how he had got out the military, he moved to Virginia, his mom was sick, and they were living with his brother and his fiance. Of course, that's crowded and too many people, so he decided to, get out. He just got a new job. He took his mom who was sick. She's living with him. He wanted to give his brother space. Short disclaimer in that story. The brother bought this big L house, paid for a wedding, and the wife left him anyways. But it is what it is. He moves out with his mom. He's got his job. And, I don't know what is my perception because I'm a New Yorker. I don't know. But my observation is that these Southern parents, I don't know if it was an aunt or a mom, but these Southern relatives be trying to hook their kids up real quick in the South. And a lady at his job, like that stereotypical black lady who's not a manager, not in a leadership position, but she's been there so long, she's got some say so. She hooked him up with her, I guess it was her daughter or her niece, one of the two, I don't remember. But anyways, lo and behold, she's supposed to be this Christian girl, this church girl. Lo and behold, him with that New York swag, for lack of a better word I shouldn't use, he smashed the first week. All this other stuff. Same situation, kind of rushing how Laurence did with Tasha. And they broke up. They had a fight about something like that. They broke up. A week later, he get fired. Dude was breaking records, sales records, whatever, and doing whatever he had to do. So it wasn't like his performance, something like that. He was, military trained, disciplined dude about his business as far as work goes. So I know it. I believe him when he said it wasn't on his point, on his fault of his on that end. But he was dumb. Like, I'm like, why would you just started working there. You knew in the city you going to, date a person who's not technically your boss, but she has some seniority over you. You're gonna hook up with one of her peoples, and then y'all don't work out, and then you get fired. Like, to me, it's just like, again, that was dumb. Why would you date somebody, especially when you're new? You're the only dude in the office full of women, yada yada yada. So it's just like, then the fact that you're talking to other women, and that aunt who saw you dump her niece or her daughter sees all that. Like, it's just a lot of pettiness into that situation to avoid. I wouldn't put myself in that situation. But that was an L for Laurence. Definitely getting with her, even though I find her attractive. She seems like cool. But just dating her was stupid. So, again, we can be Team Laurence and still critique the things that he did that was wrong. At the end of the season, there was like the little dream that Issa had, and I'm like, oh, hell no. I'm definitely done with this show. Next season for HBO is the last season of Game of Thrones, and maybe Ballers, which I think kind of drags, but it's all right. I do prefer, actually, Survivor's Remorse over Ballers and Issa Rae show. To me, it's a lot more going on that show. Again, like I've always stated before, a lot of these black shows and sitcoms, to me, they push a lot of liberal agendas, that they overdo it to the point where it's annoying, but it is black content, and that's what you get. But I say all this to say this, though. Now that, okay, like, a lot of men gravitated to Laurence's character because, like, we don't really have that to relate to. One thing I too say, one of the reasons why I think the Laurence hate is an overreaction, or it's telling, is when you look at Power and you look at Ghost's character, right? Yeah, people don't like the fact that Ghost cheated on Tasha with the light-skinned Puerto Rican chick, whatever. Boom. But for the most part, the hatred is for Tyreek, who is a kid. And his issues are because his father's not being a father, right? People hate Angela, the attorney, whoever, for what she did. People hate, they hate Kanan for killing his own son, all that stuff, whatever. But the culprit is Ghost. Like, he's messed up. Like, all the drama in the show is because of him. He should have killed Kanan instead of getting him set up. He should have never messed with the Valdez chick while he's a freaking drug dealer. Like, come on. Like, that just doesn't that doesn't compute at all, right? So a lot of the failures are on him, but there's more hatred for Laurence, who is just, on the couch for a couple years, not a bad dude, than there is for Ghost, who is a murderer, a thief, a snitch, right? He snitched on Kanan and got him locked up. That's kind of just telling to me, right? There's more empathy for him being, because quiet is kept, right? Any black male character that is if he got street smarts and he's got education and all that, that's the combination right there that you'll get black women to love that character or love that show. It started for me, I think, with The Wire and Idris Elba's character, right? And I've said this before in any other show. If you want to promote dark-skinned masculinity, all you have to do is create a Stringer Bell type character. That's all you have to do, right? A dark-skinned, slender man who's got some street ability and he's got some education. Maybe he's a reformed Pookie Ray Ray. Chicks will love that up. They get their panties wet off the bat. So, and that's, I guess, what Saint, even though he's not tall and dark-skinned, he's short and light-skinned, but he still gets that dark-skinned masculinity promotion in that show because of his character. That's all you have to do. But I think that that's how you know that the hate for Laurence is unrealistic. And I've even heard, like, I listened to some female podcasts, they were talking about the distro that they killed, he was gay, but I remember the chick slipped up and said, yeah, if I deal with a dude who's a drug dealer, I want him to be like the distro, not Tommy or Ghost, but the Mexican cartel dude who's over them. Like, so some women, again, like, and those same women were saying, oh, Laurence ain't shit. So again, it's kind of telling where we stand, right? Like, where men are saying they can relate to being Laurence, and then if chicks are shitting on him, that's just kind of telling about our dating and mating game and whatnot and what's going on. Another thing too was the lawyer in this current season of Power. A lot of women didn't like him either. The funny thing is, everything he said about Ghost was true. Like, they played him like he was a cornball, Uncle Tom type of dude. There was more hatred for him than they could celebrate or love the fact that Tasha, who is like Molly, another thought box, getting her groove on and her cheating on all that stuff too, right? So they championing that, like getting back at Ghost for what he did with one woman. How many mushroom tips have Tasha had as a married woman on the show? But there's a lot of animosity and hatred towards him. I've seen comments, several of them, of women just going in like, I hate him. Even some dudes were like, I don't like him. I'm like, and I ask the question every time I saw it, I ask the question, so what did he say that was wrong? What did he say that's a lie? Like, everything he said about Ghost was true. He, in the messed up part is like, Ghost can't trust him, which he can't. And he thinks Ghost is guilty for a crime that he's trying to get him off, but Ghost can't tell him everything because he can't trust him. So it's like he's in a sticky situation right there because he knows the Ghost is holding something back, and yet he don't want to lose the case. Blah blah blah. Only thing I will say is, if you really think Ghost is guilty and you really think he is capable of what was done, smashing his wife ain't gonna help the situation. That's the only thing I don't understand. Like the little dude from the Little Rascals, both lawyers actually were in the Little Rascals movie. The little Chucky White dude that was on Entourage and the beanhead dude from Little Rascals, both were on Power. That's interesting. But yeah. Again, more hatred for Laurence and disdain for Laurence, who's just an educated lame who was on the couch for a few years. He didn't abandon no kids. He didn't beat no women up. He didn't kill nobody. But there's more disdain for him than there is for Ghost. Which one is better for the community if you had to choose? Like, that really answers the question. I see a lot of people, women too, ignoring the fact. I was watching some videos of people making the point that Laurence is more attractive than Issa is beautiful, which is true. So, in essence, I would say that Issa ain't shit and Laurence ain't shit, and they deserve each other. But now that Laurence has his shit together, clearly he can do better, right? Like he could definitely do better. So I'm like, people don't want to ignore that element. Like right now, at the end of the season of 2, Issa's homeless and she ain't got no car, right? So she was one eviction and one car accident away from being in a worse position than than Laurence was when he was with her. Laurence has his stuff together now. He has his own place. Issa's homeless and has no car. So it's like, come on, they deserve each other in essence. It's not like she's a great person who deserves better, whatever. Some people like the fit with her and Daniel. I think Daniel is kind of a lame too. After all the stuff she put him through and all the other nonsense, I think he's kind of lame as well. Even though he, I guess the dark skin masculinity thing helps out, and the fact that he's got some muscles. But the fact that he put up with all the nonsense that Issa's putting him through. She goes to him after they smashed when she cheated on Laurence. And then, come on. Come on, girl. That is an overreaction. Overreaction, girl. That was just stupid. It didn't make any sense. I don't care what nobody say. Where the hell you think that shit was gonna go? Real talk. But anyways, a question was asked too. I saw on Facebook. I want to talk about that real quick. Laurence was in season, I think episode 9. Season 2, episode 8. She went below the belt and she came at him for being depressed and his little app not working. Like women in arguments, they know how to go below the belt and hurt a man's pride. And she did that. And Laurence called her a hoe. And someone asked the question, was Laurence wrong for calling her a hoe? No, because the whole second season is about the whole phase. So how could he be wrong if that's exactly what the season's about? Not only that, but if you look at the HuffPost interview with Issa, and I talked about that, how black women claim that they don't have, they feel like they're being policed Sexually, which is totally malarkey, black women are the freest women to do whatever they want to do with their body in our planet, right? When white women get out of pocket and stop doing things, white men change laws to stop them from doing what they're doing. When Arab women tripping and they not doing what they men want them to do, their head gets cut off. Literally, I live in Western New York. It happened here. Chick got her head cut off with a shovel, right? Like a 1-6. There was an Indian pop star not that long ago. Like, she was like their version of Kim Kardashian. Her own brother killed her. Like, the most you gonna get is someone's gonna call you a thought or a hoe in America from a black man. That's it. And then most men are gonna shame the dude who calls her that because they want access to the women. So they don't even co-sign dudes calling women those things because of their sexual freeness, right? I don't know. I just think that's corny. But Issa claimed that she wanted to show that black women can be slutty and freaky and this and that and all sorts of stuff. I'm like, yo, y'all can do whatever the hell y'all want with y'all bodies. Have as many babies out of wedlock. Have as many abortions you want. You do what you want to do. The most that can happen to you is someone will criticize you. But ain't no laws getting changed to stop you from doing what you were doing. And ain't nobody cutting off your head to stop you from doing what you want to do. Alright? Exceptions don't break the rule. But I'm just saying, y'all are the freest to do what you want to do sexually. I don't get this idea where they claim that white women got to explore and do this in the 60s and 70s, blah, blah, blah. Y'all was doing the same shit. Go look at y'all women who were in like 55, 60 now, who were teenagers during that era. They was getting it in, doing the same thing that the Beckys was doing at Livestock and wilding out and doing too much, right? Ain't no difference. But Issa said it specifically that she wanted to use her platform to show black women exploring themselves sexually and all that stuff. So, the answer, no, Laurence was not wrong to call Issa a hoe, because the whole point of the season 2 was the whole phase, and Molly's definitely enjoying her whole phase, and so is Issa, and so is Tasha from Power. She's in her whole phase too. I'm out. That's just my take. But the moral of all that, though, before I go, is since Laurence is giving this character to black men that some like, again, I say some are attached to him because they can find some similarities to him. Some are attached to him simply because we know that the women don't like him, right? I guess I could say I err more on that side. But when are we going to get the Educated Black Lame show? When are we going to get an unapologetic black male view show where he can be awkward, he can be a blue-collar brother, he can just be himself unapologetically, the same way Issa created this character? We got Daniel through the female lens, but imagine how great we could be if we got our own story and our own character through an unapologetic male lens. That would be cool. That should be the goal. I would love to work with Tim Alexander and have something like that popping off, because I think it's time. Like, the fact that so many dudes related to Laurence and was Team Laurence, I think that it's time for that unapologetic black man character, whether he be educated lame or not, away from the, Martin's character, Eddie Murphy's character in Boomerang, away from the power version of black masculinity and all that, but some dude in the middle who ain't that and has his head on his shoulders, but is a little awkward, a little bit off, socially awkward, all other stuff. Just like Issa promoted her own socially awkwardness. Now it's time for black men to do the same thing. If y'all Team Laurence for real, then we should be team supporting that type of character on television or film. There's so many options now. AT&T got a show out right now. Like, everybody, there's so many different ways to get it done. And again, I know, I definitely understand and know that they don't want those type of shows, network, mainstream. I get that. I hear the argument that, people will be in their feelings to have that type of a character, right? Like, I would think that I would thought that I would like Mad Men because I like era shows and all that stuff, and the arguments from the feminists. I don't like Mad Men. I couldn't even get past a couple episodes, but I definitely would love to see a black Mad Men, not in that essence, just unapologetic black men. And because there's so much liberal bullshit promoted through a lot of black sitcoms and TV shows, I would love for him to not be progressive or liberal at all either. That would be a lot more interesting too.